and as enemies rise faster than allies, salvation cannot come from one hero alone, but from many.
Hello ladies and gentlemen, it's Young here and welcome to an Elder Scrolls Online news update. ZeniMax Online recently released information about one of many creatures in the game, the Dreughs. Elder Scrolls fans should recognize this monster, or the name should at least sound familiar. That's because the Dreughs were featured in Elder Scrolls 3 Morrowind and Elder Scrolls 4 Oblivion. ZeniMax's most recent update shows off some concept art, information on how the Dreughs was created, and it even shows off a new short clip with a Dreughs in action. I don't want to dive too deep into the lore of Dreughs. What you need to know is that there are two types in the game: water Dreughs and land Dreughs. The latter was actually the specific type of Dreughs found in Oblivion. Now, let's take a look at the 30 seconds footage given to us by the developers. First, I want to comment on the graphics. For an MMO, the graphics are actually quite good, but most impressive is the amount of detail in the animation of the creature. I mean, seriously, look at this thing. Every limb of its body is doing something. Those little subtle details really make the creature seem all the more living. Also, fun story, the two land Dreughs variants kind of look like cooked versus non-cooked crabs, which really makes me hungry actually. Now here we get to see the land Dreughs just beating the living hell out of the player character. And I mean, god, the thing is like Bane on steroids. Also note that every strike deals static damage to the player, staying true to the lore of the single player games. If you've played Morrowind or Oblivion and have encountered these creatures, you won't be so shocked about what you see here. The final point I want to make is about the camera. Players have been worrying that Elder Scrolls Online is another WoW clone rather than an online version of the Elder Scrolls games. But if you look closely, the camera vastly resembles the over-the-shoulder view of Skyrim, which is further indication that maneuvering characters should feel more like Elder Scrolls rather than standard MMORPGs. While we've seen tons of footage of the third-person mode, there's very little footage on the first-person view. And yes, folks, the developers have confirmed there is some kind of first-person view, but as for whether it'll play like what we have seen in Oblivion or Skyrim, that is yet to be determined. After all, this is an MMO, so certain changes have to be made to accommodate for the genre. But essentially, the point I want to make is to expect this MMORPG to play to a certain degree familiarly to Elder Scrolls fans. That is it for today, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you for tuning in. Join the NASIAN and subscribe to Yongya to be further updated on Elder Scrolls Online, along with other AAA titles like Fallout 4, Skyrim, Metal Gear Solid 5, Ground Zero, Zelda, and much more. Also, subscribe to Young Gaming for my Let's Play videos. Subscribe to both and join the NASIAN, because every gamer needs an Asian. Thank you very much, and Young out!